economic affairs, and this means that you are speaking about agriculture. I saw that in the past you were between 2004 and 2006 acting as president for the Biodiversity Convention and EU negotiator. This would be perhaps also interesting if you could tell us some words about this when you have the floor, and tell us if between this period and our period now, biodiversity or the notion from biodiversity changes, or if it's still the same. Because as you know, landowners, Agro said, we are involved in economy, but also biodiversity and sustainability. And do biodiversity in the mind of politicians or director generals change, or is it still the same? Please, Hans, I let you the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished landowners, ladies and gentlemen. You were referring to the merger of two ministries and biodiversity, and with the merger in the new Ministry of the former Ministry of Agriculture, Nature Management and Food Quality, also agriculture and nature managed now within one directorate. So it merged also into one directorate, and it also means that I think from both sides, when you speak about biodiversity, we saw new perspectives. When I was preceding the Biological Diversity Convention, it was clearly focusing on biodiversity, but sometimes only focusing on biodiversity and not to economic challenges and also values. And what you now see is with the merger of those two values in one directorate, we are much aware not only of the challenges but also of the opportunities. And I think that's changing. It's changing not only in my brains, but especially changing in hopefully the ministry, but especially also in politics. And of course, our land is our basis. Anyone who owns some acres holds life essentials. Among them are food, welfare, health, social and cultural habits, memories, not to forget euros, and happiness. We live on it, we live through it. We are well aware, we all are very much aware of those values, not only here today, not only in the Netherlands, but especially also in the European Union. And that's why I'm so excited to speak to you today about our presidency, the European Union, but also about some Dutch habits. But first, I think the European presidency. Up to July 2016, our job is to manage the European Union agenda. And of course, we will do it in the Dutch way. We are known by what you see is what you get. Of course, we will be sometimes blunt to push the agenda, but of course, we always do it with diplomatic skills. And we will hope to set clear accents to the agenda, especially to main issues which we deal commonly with. Second, we are committed to clear and simple regulations producing growth and new jobs in the internal market. And third, to direct participation in decisive processes by citizens, enterprises, social organizations, and organizations like you. The Agriculture and Fishery Council is among the relevant ministerial fora, and I would say perhaps the most important one, especially I think for you as well. It offers opportunities to move on the sustainable development agenda, but also opportunities to improve and simplify regulations, making life more sustainable and especially more easier. Also, we will engage in a collective fight against antimicrobial resistance, and of course in plant breeders' rights. Plant breeders benefit by ensured access to propagating material. And we hope to set the first stepping stones for a midterm review of the Common Agriculture Policy. And in our idea and in our opinion, furthering the greening of the Common Agriculture Policy is essential. In the field of nature, we have 3 evaluations, which will affect landowners in the Netherlands all over Europe. First, of course, the fitness check on the bird and habitat directives, which will be carried out the coming month. The Netherlands will hold a conference in June about this subject, and especially your organization, of course, is invited to contribute to this conference. And for us, it should be an open discussion how to move forward on the implementation of these directives. We will be discussing flexibility in the implementation, but our idea is not to rediscuss or renegotiate the goals and objectives. They should stay as they are, but I really think that we can move forward by improving our implementation, giving more flexibility to member states. The second evaluation concerns the EU fight against illegal harvesting and logging of timber. We expect the evaluation of the Forest Law Enforcement, Government and Trade Action Plan during our presidency. And if that is taking place, we also hope to draw Council conclusions. And thirdly, the publication of the timber regulation evaluation is scheduled at the end of this year. In our view, timber producers are to have a level playing field. Non-EU countries are to know how serious we are about our sustainable forest management, and also they have to live up to the same rules as our producers are. Ladies and gentlemen, I've set some examples of our priorities during our presidency, but what will be the Dutch signature? As you look to the Netherlands, and you all know, we live in a very dense populated area in Europe, perhaps the most dense populated area. And The Hague is being the densest city of the Netherlands. And yet, there is a lot of agriculture. We are the third or the second largest exporter of agricultural products. We have areas with unique ecosystems. And of course, water, lots of water. We have thousands of people crossing these lands to get to work or to look for recreation, by bike, by boat, by car, on sneakers, or with their dogs. This reality results in competing land claims, you all know. Implementing Nature 2000, for example, is therefore a real challenge in the Netherlands. However, with the European regulations, we have found our way to implement it in a proper way. It's not a surprise to you that our policymaking is always dealing with different interests, with controversy, compromise, and cooperation. It's known as the Dutch Polo model. And we learned, sometimes in a hard way, that we always have to do it together. With our nature approach of working closely together with private organizations, with provincial governments, local governments, NGOs, we were able to double our total of protected areas. This is an example how working together has benefits for everybody. Our ways of working worked out quite well for decades. But of course we have also seen side effects, like too many rules, or severe prescriptions. Dividing lines between agriculture and urban areas, wooden gates, lots of signs prescribing where to work in nature or where not. Perhaps we went too far in this. As an administration, we realized that many smart and effective practices were invented locally. We just had to re-embrace our very own tradition and reframe our policy in accordance with our culture of finding collective solutions. And so, other days, other ways. Ecology and economy go together now. They are not twins. They are, in our opinion, the same. Not only the government is involved in and should be involved in nature management. People are. Private landowners like you are. Local authorities are. Entrepreneurs are. And nowadays, a powerful trend is visible in agriculture entrepreneurs greening their businesses. They cooperate on biodiversity in a way that both nature and their businesses profit. And that's the way what we are seeing now, and which is a difference when I was chairing the Biodiversity Convention, where agriculture, which was not mentioned often in those arenas, are a clear show of how you can protect and improve biodiversity. An example in the Netherlands is, for example, the Stichting Veldleeuwik. The organization represents a chain of agriculture entrepreneurs, seed companies and growers. And their objective is to inspire their businesses chain with new and creative ideas for a more sustainable pathway. Other cooperative initiatives rapidly root here. They inspired us to design collective agriculture nature management. The system responds to the demands of the Common Agriculture Policy. And here in the Netherlands, it was really an innovation that we could set this kind of collectives here. Its objective is to have nature conserved and maintained by local organizations. That's why it offers groups of farmers and growers to deliver services to benefit ecosystems and biodiversity. And here the good news is, since January of this year, it's not only them, but also private managers of nature can join too. Now, before you think there's only a collective solution for every problem, I can mention also many examples where private creativity is shown too. For example, like the Trigger property. It manages to combine economy and ecology notion through 4,000 hectares of diverse nature and 150 farms, having their income coming from lease land, yacht renting, wood sale, a shop, entry fees for gardens and special events. Ladies and gentlemen, we partly owe our rethinking to the landowners, to you, and we really would like to thank you. You have been successfully fighting for an equal treatment in nature conservation. You have been illustrating your passion, your willingness to take responsibility, to contribute, to truly be part of your environment. Today, private persons, farmers, enterprises, traditional nature conservation organizations, specialized site managers and associations can and are conserving nature. Everyone may, under certain conditions, buy an acre of nature, asking for support measures, make arrangement and administer it. And this is of course not only becoming a process yet. Recently the European Union and the Commission ruled on a dispute. But let us continue to join efforts to overcome old controversies. Let's discover some new interesting ways we never knew about. Many blessings are expected from remodeling our nature conservation, and we have seen already many good results. If people manage their nature resources, they usually put their heart and soul into it. If the managing is done in a corporation, it will be cost effective and have shared values. And of course, local expertise adds to our nature objectives. Farmers, for example, know the breeding spots of meadow birds. A group of them can adopt a grass cutting approach with accurate details indicating where to mow on a weekly basis, and therefore protecting meadow birds, and also to allow them to finish their breedings. Or they may also help in developing local knowledge, not only by the farmers or nature organizations, but also local authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing also some severe problems in our agriculture development. European and national agriculture policies affect our dairy farmers in particular. Dairy production is an important engine to our economy, hence our reputation as a dairy country. And for example, Friesland Campina is one of the leading companies worldwide, and we can be proud of it. These days, even today and tomorrow, the government is fully involved in facilitating the evaluation of our dairy policy and to see how we can deal with the environmental constraints. And Dutch dairy farmers are, like their EU colleagues, are to adjust their policies to the common, not only to the common agriculture policy, which is recently altered